Alright everyone, welcome back to Power Training Sports for the Realistic League for round 18 here at the Singapore Grand Prix. My name is Indigo, or Jamie as you like to call me. Nice to be back on comms. It's been a while since I've been doing comms, but obviously on Fridays I'm a bit busy in terms of my schedule. So yeah, as you can see on the circuit, it is wet around here in Singapore, and first introduced since back in 2008 for the first night race of that year as well, and we've got more night races too. And let's see then what happens on the circuit. It's one of the longest tracks in the calendar, of course, but obviously a few corners have been removed, and that was a very tricky last sector as well, because the tyres would heat up so much as the lap goes on, and therefore you be very careful how you approach those corners, the slow speed corners where it's very easy to lose traction. We see plenty of people scrape the wall or hit the barriers. I think where Timo Glock and Daniel Ricciardo crashed back there to make our way down to turn 7, and let's see then who's the first one on the circuit. So we'll go on board with the kick Sauber first. And talk about Sauber, congratulations to Brazil, because Gabriel Bortoleto is the new Formula 1 driver, first Brazilian Grand Prix driver since Felipe Massa and Felipe Nasr as well. So it's nice to have a Brazilian back on the grid, as it's been quite a while since 2017. Obviously, we had Felipe Djokovic in the Aston Martin camp, but we know Stroll won't go away, unless, of course, his dad doesn't own the team anymore. But yeah, I'm glad that we got a legend. Well, I'm glad we got a Brazilian driver on the grid. I know he's the Formula 2 champion, isn't he? No, Formula 2 championship leader, because I don't think Formula 2 has ended yet. But Gabriel Bortoleto, from the sounds of it, seems very talented indeed. Did he come from last to first or second at the Monza Grand Prix in that feature race? I'm not quite sure, but obviously I used to follow Formula 2 quite a lot, but these days I don't really catch up because I'm not really that interested no more, which is a shame to say, because obviously as a motorsport fan you got to follow the lower categories, but when it's on I will watch it, but not in my own spare time. But here we are then, back to the F1 game, on board with the Sauber as he makes his way down towards turn 1. It's going to be a bit tentative going down there, obviously because of the wet conditions. Let's see how much practice these drivers have done in these wet conditions. Goes down into first gear, as you can see, being very gingerly on the floor there, trying to make sure he reduces the wheel spin on the exit. You can see the tyres lighting up as we go now towards turn 5, this mid-speed corner, as it's very important to get the run on the exit too, because the DRS is enabled. And here we are towards turn 6. Rappel's Mobilard, I think the straight is called, as we make our way now towards fast right hand of the kink, going down into turn 7, breaking up the 100 metre board, slow it all down. As you can see, just being very tentative on the floor there, being very careful to see when he can apply the throttle as we make our way out of slow speed corners. I think that's where Logan Sargent crashed last year, isn't it? Back in 2023. I think we saw Romain Grosjean and George Russell crash there too, in the Williams and the Haas at the time. No, not a good call for Williams whatsoever, as we make our way now towards the middle sector. Let's see how he takes it through the under the Anderson Bridge. Felipe Massa and Bruno Senna, the two Brazilians going at it here in 2012. I believe Felipe Massa made contact with him, but eventually overtook him down the inside to claim away whatever position he was fighting for that year in the Ferrari, which wasn't quite great. But Swedes makes his way towards the end of the set. So we did see somebody on the soft compound tyres, but obviously it's not the right tyre then, as he gets back in the pit lane. I think it was Ash YouTube who went on the soft compound tyres, but obviously he knows now that the weather conditions are suited towards the Inters. Now we make our way now towards turn 19 to turn 20, or turn 18 to turn 19, so it can be very difficult because the tyres will get very hot at the stage, and it's very easy to lose traction through there as well. We saw Sebastian Vettel scrape the wall as we make our way now towards the lines. It's going to be a 44.2 for the rest of the drivers to beat then, as Aaron Marshall does beat that, and he beats it by 0.4 of a second then. So a good lap time there from the RB, but obviously it's our first lap time, so the track will start to improve. I say that everybody else will have confidence, the tyres will have more grip as well, as more drivers go for multiple runs of the set of intermediate tyres. It's not like the dry compound tyres where you have to you have to do a push, cool down, push if you want to do more than one lap on a set of soft compound tyres. But on the Inters, it doesn't heat up that too much on the flying laps. And obviously the battery as well, you're not really on full throttle throughout the whole lap. So you can go for consecutive lap times on the intermediates. And that's good because you get into a rhythm, you can get into a flow and test out the challenges as well around here, and test out the grip conditions and see how much you can push in the corners as we make our way now towards in the first sector for Pooley, as he gets a nice toe in the back of the RB. But obviously these guys go for multiple runs. He's close behind him, but the RB thankfully gets off the track, but it may have distracted the Red Bull's vision. Coming out of turn 8, that's a sharp right-hander going into turn 9 now. He wants to flick it in, carry the speed through. Very careful as well not to take too much of the inside curve there, because you'll lose the balance of the car. Swan Shanks goes into P4. Last time I commentated, I think it was the Imola Grand Prix. I did say his name wrong, didn't I? I remember that one, but not quite sure how you pronounce it. But obviously it's an easy name, so I should know how. But here we are at the exit of under the Anderson Bridge, down at turn 13. A few moves can be made down there, but we've seen some good moves in the past as well. But obviously with Sergio Perez making that dive bomb into 13, took Albon, I think, out of the points on that occasion, as he makes his way now towards 14, where Lando Norris almost bottled it. But you know what? That's it's not like... That corner is a bit weird for me. Ian Marshall goes quickest, and that's a nice lap time there. Lights up the timing screens with a 41.9. Some 1.5 seconds ahead of pot stuff there in P2. So obviously Marshall, all these guys are gathering the confidence, building up the speed, trying to know when to push the car in the right places. Paulie goes a bit wide in the exit of the last two corners. He puts that Red Bull into P5, and I think somebody else has moved up the other two. That was Swan Shanks, who goes into P3, half a second away there from Potstrop. Black Box in the Alpine goes into P2 then with a 42.0, 1.1 seconds quicker than Potstoffer's X-Gamer at 1891 goes into third now. Some margins in between each driver, but that's expected in the wet conditions. On a difficult track like this, all these drivers have their own have their own skill and bravery to try and build up the confidence around any circuit around here. Maybe it takes a few other people to get a few laps under their belt before they can really push the car. Maybe some people could just go for that 1 or 2 flying lap immediately, just settle into a rhythm very quickly. I'm one of those drivers where in qualified it does take a bit of time for me to just get into a rhythm and settle in. I'm not like other people where they can just go on the track and just set a blistering lap time despite a brand new session, different track conditions. They're able to put a lap on the board, just gather the information they did. As we're about to see the quickest time then, H. Ashtube, who goes into first place. So looking good for Alpine so far. They're first and third. And that's some margin as well, 1.2 seconds quicker than Iron Marshall in P2. Gamers in P4 in the Williams. Behind him is Potstuff. I remember seeing that decent race in Imola and China commentated. Potstuff was involved in the action, but that was quite a long time ago. My memory can't go that further back. And also, I commentate for different leagues as well, so yeah, I've got a lot to remember, unfortunately, in my small brain there. But I think Small Chance will make his way back in the pit lane because he's run out of fuel, so maybe put on a brand new set of inters and see what he could do there. We've got 3 people who have a set lap time. Yeah, Jake the Slayer, Lou Boy Extremes, and Knowsley in P12. He's also another driver I can't pronounce either his name properly. I've known him for like years and years, since like 2019. For some reason, can't say his second name right. Game is approved, but stays in P3. I think he just jumped to P3 because it was a P5, wasn't he? So it's a 41.5, and he's a 10th away, or just under a 10th away from Black Box there. So the time's getting close between those two as all the drivers there just settle into a rhythm and see what they could do. Iron Marshall going for the lap time, did a 41.9, has done 3 laps on those sets of intermediate tyres. Then let's see, he was a second down, so I don't think he's, oh, that's so close there to the exit of turn 9. They're almost in the wall. I don't think we see many people crash there in real life, have we? I don't really recall many people crashing there. We've seen good battles there in the past between Esteban Ocon, Alonso, and whoever else was involved at the time as well. But here we are then. I remember the old Singapore Sling. I had never raced that before in the old games. Didn't have the chance to. Maybe I did, but I just can't remember. But yeah, the Singapore Sling was iconic. We saw plenty of people make mistakes through there. I remember Kamui Kobayashi being one of them in the Sauber at the time, BMW Sauber. I remember Kimi Raikkonen back in 2008 who crashed there. I think, I'm not quite sure who else comes to mind because I remember a lot of people crashing there before, but obviously that chicane has been taken out. Probably has improved racing as well. George Russell is the latest victim to crash at that place, but obviously not because of the Singapore thing. It's because he touched the tyre, he hit the barriers on the outside, didn't he? But chasing down Lando Norris. And Carlos Sainz, what a fantastic race back in 2023 last year. Can't believe that was a year ago as well. That seems like a very long time ago now, but yeah, that was a fantastic drive from Sainz. Very strategic as well because he kept Lando Norris in DRS range to give Norris the DRS to prevent the 2 Mercedes on the new side medium compound tyres, hunt them down and overtaken. And that was very, very strategic as well because if Lando Norris wasn't there, I dare say Russell or Hamilton would have won that race. But yeah, Sainz played it beautifully. And who was it that caused the VSC at the time? Because the VSC came out. Was it an Alpine that broke down of Esteban Ocon? I think it was. Ocon broke down. A VSC came out, and so 2 Mercedes pitted for a double stack to go on the brand new same medium compound tyres to hunt down the top 2. But once they got close, they just couldn't overtake. George Russell had a slight sniff on Lando Norris in turn 14, but Norris defended well and kept him at bay. Coming out of turn 14 now, this can be a very tricky corner because I've seen plenty of people last with rear tyres as well, possibly hits that curve as well. So that's a very important traction zone too because the DRS is enabled on the 3rd straight. There's supposed to be 4 DRS zones around here, but unfortunately on this game it hasn't been updated then, so there's no DRS on the straight. And I wonder what could that do to league racing, because we've seen a few overtakes in league racing history in that corner too. If you get a good run out of turn 13, get up to 14, I'm very intrigued to see how it would change the effects of this race. But Potstuff is coming back in the pit lane. We've got Gamer out there on the inters. Purple middle sector, can't quite tell if how much he improved on that lap time, but as he powers his way now at turn 14, a good run there. It seems like Gamer's got some confidence in that Williams. Can he try and displace Ash Tube for pole? First of all, got to be in the 40s then as he moves his way out of turn 9 to turn 20, back on the throttle again before Black Box goes quickest with a 40.0. That's a great lap time indeed, a massive slide out of corner there, but Gamer goes into P2. That's the confidence these drivers have found by doing multiple runs on the set of intermediate tyres there, so all these drivers gaining their confidence. But I'm seeing a few people on the soft compound tyres right now. Yeah, so very interesting stuff there. Do these drivers believe that it'll get dry towards the end? Will it be a one-shot qualifying on the soft compound tyres? But interestingly, one driver has gone out on the soft compound tyres way too early. But I think this could be a situation where it rains the whole of qualifying, and in the last minute or so, it could dry out to be on the soft compound tyres. I've been in that situation myself. I actually had a league race around here. I think it could be Knowles' league where that type of situation happened, maybe another league, but basically it was Inters in Q3. Surely it was Knowles' league because I'm saying Q3. So I think it was Inters in Q3, and in the last minute or so, it was a one-shot qualified on the soft compound tyre. So could we see that in qualifying? I always love that, you know, because it really shows who can manage the pressure, because that one-shot qualifying could put you up the order or put you at the back of the order because you made that mistake in your one last run on the set of soft compound tyres where the track conditions are at their best. And Save Jason then is coming towards the end of the first sector, 3.7 seconds up, it says, on his Delta. He did set at 52.5, so obviously that time is not representative. So I hope he finds more time in the middle and the last sector. It doesn't seem that there's any signs of the track improving. It's still raining out there, so these drivers got to manage these conditions still. But Gamer now in the 39s is a 39.8 for the Williams driver. Another great lap time indeed. Sweet is out there in the KXR, but I believe he's coming out of turn 6, heading down towards turn 7, that braking zone. And let's see then what Jason could do. 8.6 seconds up. So ideally in the last sector needs to find a bit more time. But I want to talk about turn 14 where I think it talks about Lando Norris caution there. For me, that is such an odd corner because it doesn't look like a place like... It's not a typical place where you go and have a crash, really. But for some reason, if you misjudge the braking zone, break a few hundred meters, so now he goes up into P3. That's a great lap time from the RB, exactly what he needed. But for some reason, at that corner, I get caught out with it, and I get frustrated with myself because I've had races in Singapore where I've dominated the race, and my lapse of concentration, I end up in that wall for some reason at turn 14, and that really annoys me because it cost me the race. I've done it a few times as well. Under a safety car I've done it as well. But yeah, that corner just catches me out for some reason. But that shows you got to pay attention at all times, 100% focused, even though you could be in a spot where nobody's challenging you. This track is difficult. And one slight slip up could find yourself in the walls as well. Here goes Paulie now coming out of turn 19. Very interested to see what he could do on his flying lap. Here he is coming towards the final two corners. Can he displace Gamer? Can he take pole? We're about to find out now. It's a P4 for him. And he goes into P4, as I said already. 3/10 is the gap between himself and Save Jason, who's improving in the first sector, but turned off his ERS. Is that tactical? Because usually, if you turn off your ERS in the slow speed corners, that means you won't light up the rear tyres because you won't have a lot of energy and force going into the rear tyres. But he's kept it off, so I presume he could have made a mistake. But he hasn't got enough time to head back in the pit lane, so the next lap will be his last lap. I think we got a Red Bull off the circuit, and it's poorly there, so I think he's backing off, and hopefully he's got enough fuel to go for one more flying lap. Sweet, 9/10 up in the first sector. These are the critical lap times then. Iron Marshall is on the soft compound tyres, but I don't think the track is headed towards that direction there, unfortunately. So I think Marshall's made a big mistake. Jake the Slayer, who hasn't set a lap time, 4 people who haven't set a lap time, are on the soft compound tyres, praying that conditions will ease off, but doesn't seem to be so. Gamer, 5/10 down in the first sector, back on board with the Sauber there to see what he could do as he makes his way now under the Anderson Bridge. Oh, the car sliding on the brakes there, just locking up the rears as he gets on the corner. How much time has that cost Sweet? As we're about to find out now towards the end of the middle sector. He's got it 2.2 seconds up, but that's a 42.0, so that's going to be about 40.0. That's close, you know, 40.0, because he's only 2 tenths away from pole. So can Gamer find more time in the last sector? Gamer has... Oh, hello there, Howski. Goes quickest with a 39.3 by 5 tenths. Here comes the Sauber driver now, making his way towards the last 2 corners. Can he put himself on pole? We're about to find out now, and he can! It's a 38.6 for Sweet there. That was a fantastic lap time towards the end, despite that hiccup going down into turn 13. Anybody else out there? Black Box going for the lap time. There is 20 seconds left to go in the session. Save Jason, 7 tenths up in the first sector. We're about to find out what he could do now. Currently in P5 with a 40.3. His middle sector, 4 tenths up though, so not enough. Maybe for P2, P3 area, not for pole. But is there any more lap time to be found in this last sector? He's got to do a miracle in the last sector if he wants to try and put that car on pole. Maybe P2 is at his best. So let's see what he could do in these slow speed corners there in third gear. Just being very lenient on the throttle there before he gets back with it again. Before we make our way towards the final 2 corners we go. What can the RB do as he crosses the line now? It's a 39.8 and he puts himself into P3. Anybody else? Gamer improves in the first sector by 3 tenths as well. Is Howski on another lap time? I think he is, but he gets a tow from his teammate, but hopefully his teammate gets out of the way because he's not really in a flying lap. Or is he going to get out of the way? Well, doesn't matter anyway because 5 seconds down is the Mercedes driver. Ash Tube in the middle sector out of turn 13, 5 tenths up in the first sector alone, but let's see what his middle sector is. 1.5 seconds. This could be the time for pole, but I think he still needs to improve by a few more tenths in the final sector. So we got the 2 Mercedes who we know will not take pole because one was the softs and the other one was bad softs. So eyes on Ash Tube to see what he can do as we make our way now out of turn 19 we go. Can the Alpine driver put himself on pole? His teammates right behind him, but we're about to find out anytime soon. He crossed the line. It is pole. It's a 38.3. No, it's not. Black Box is on pole. It's a 38.1, and it's a double Alpine as well on the front row. Fantastic lap time, but I don't think anybody else. Gamer across the line. It's P4 for him with a 39.0 then, so that's a very good qualifier session. They kept us on our toes until the very end of the session. And there is your results then, with both Alpines in first and second. Great lap time from both of them. Sweet in the RB, in the Sauber goes into P3. And we're about to find out what happens in this race. There's your classifications. So Black Box on pole ahead of Ash Tube is a double Alpine first and second. Sweet in P3, Gamer in P4 ahead of Howski in P5. Save Jason 6th ahead of Swan Shanks. Pooley 8th ahead of Pot Stuff. Iron Marshall P10, Jake the Slayer P11, Lou Boy Extremes 12th, and Knowsley, who didn't set lap time in 13th, and somebody is in 14th, but I'm not quite sure who it is. Alpine look like they're on a roll so far. They won in Baku. It was a 1-2 Black Box ahead of Ash Tube. But yeah, can they continue this great form? Because they won at the Belgian Grand Prix as well. And Black Box had second place. So it looks like Alpine are on fire this season, judging by these results. Yeah, they are on fire as well. Multiple 1-2s. We had about 3-4 1-2s this season. Canadian Grand Prix, the Austrian Grand Prix as well. So don't be surprised to see Alpine up there, because of form this season. And yes, it was the what race did I commentate for earlier on? Was it the Imola Grand Prix? It was the Chinese Grand Prix, wasn't it? Where Serious Mushroom started down in last 19th place and finished in first. Great drive from him. I remember I remember Knowsley being there too, but I think he got spun at turn number 13 in the hairpin. Is there a formation lap? And I think there is. So we can talk about what tyres people have opted to go for. And the strategy is mediums to hards. Now, I had a race around here. I started the medium compound tyres. The mediums later on didn't feel that great. They were sliding around. So it's all about survival in the first opening laps of this race before we switch on the hard compound tyres. Once you go on the hard compound tyres, it's better from there because once the tyres get older, it's still... They don't overheat, you don't slide a lot. There's just a lot of grip in those hard compound tyres, but the mediums just feel absolutely terrible. Not to mention the softs, and nobody would dare touch the soft compound tyres. But yeah, the Chinese Grand Prix I commentated for was a fantastic one as well. I wonder what happened to Nunda as well. We know that the attendance here isn't great tonight, but still, 13 drivers can still put in a good display and show here. I just hope this race isn't too long because my takeaway just came, and once this race is done, I'm going to be scoffing down my face with takeaway. I ordered it at 5:30, and it just came about 20 minutes ago as well. So luckily, it didn't really interrupt my stream. It's right next to me as well on a plate. So once this race is done, maybe under the safety car, I'll have a little bit of a nibble or two. But obviously, if the safety car comes out, we'll delay it even further. When was the last time that the Singapore Grand Prix exceeded the 2-hour limit? I remember 2014 being one of them. Was it 2022? Could have been that. Could have been. I can't remember. But yeah, sometimes this race does go to over 2 hours, and they have to cut it short. But the Singapore Grand Prix is a very interesting track because even though it's hard to overtake, we've seen some fantastic action here in the past as well. 2023 been a great race, 2022 as well, with Charles Leclerc hunting down Perez towards the end of the race too. But I think Perez picked himself up a 5-second penalty because I don't remember why he picked up a penalty, but I think he built up that 5-second margin and still won the race ahead of Leclerc on that day as well. Obviously, we had a 2-year absence here because of COVID, but this is Sebastian Vettel's last race win. And for those who know me, I'm a massive Sebastian Vettel fan. 4, 5 lights. Round 18 is underway. The Sauber, a bit of a delayed start there, but it might be challenged into turn 1 by the Williams. But the Alpine get away evenly as we head down towards turn 1. Not many battles going on so far, but there's an RB versus the McLaren as we head down towards turn 2. The McLaren goes out wide, opens up the door for Williams to go through. Now they're side by side. That's pot stuff, putting the pressure on Swanshanks on the hard compound tyres, of course. So maybe not getting the grip they need in the opening stages of this race. But now, still side by side of those two. Let's see what happens as the Williams flies by. The Aston Martin of Luboy Extremes now comes through on the medium compound tyres. A very crucial move to make, especially in the medium compound tyres. The McLaren goes deep, and here we are again, down this turn. Here we go. I can see Mercedes there, who gets out of shape, but remains on the track, but may have lost a bit of time towards Gamer in P4. So that was Houski in P5 there, who went out wide, but still in the DRS range, crucially, of Gamer there. So the top three, very important start for them in the medium compound tyres, but the Harvarders there in 4th, 5th and 6th as the Aston Martins are looking for a way past as we head down towards 13. The doors open, Streams is going for it, a bit of contact made too for good measure, but nonetheless making it unscathed. But as we go down towards turn 14 now, is another way for the Aston Martin to go past. He's trying to go for it, trying to put him under pressure. The McLaren goes wide again. Oh, the Mercedes hits the wall, and the RB taps the back of him too. Extremes now finally overtakes the Aston Martin and puts himself up into P8. But in the background, I think that was Jake the Slayer who went to the wall at 14. Then the RB hit the back of him. Not quite sure if either driver has sustained damage. We're about to find out now. Jake the Slayer has his lost an end plate on the left hand side, and a lot of downforce will be lost there too. So yeah, turn 14, like I mentioned in qualifying, that can be a really tricky corner as well. But Black Box has pulled away. He's already broke that 1 second gap. Almost 2 seconds now is the gap there. So Black Box left his teammate for dust, and he's left his teammate in the clutches of Sweet there in the Sauber. I know Sweet has picked himself up his few podiums this season. Here he is side by side with the Alpine, already making a move down to turn 7. Up the inside he goes, but the Alpine's fighting back on the outside, and he defends that really well, carrying his speed and stays in front. But will he outbreak himself? Will Sweet do the under and over? He won't, as the door's shut there. So that was a great defence there from Ashtube around the outside to have the inside line for the next corner. The Williams in the background, that's Gamer, who's trying to keep on the track. Almost lost it at turn 9, but still gets going once again, trying to break himself in that 1 second gap to get the DRS and try and put the pressure on the mediums in front. But Black Box is pulling away. Fantastic pace there from the Alpine driver. Still an Alpine one too. I believe it has 3 podiums this season. No, sorry about that. 3-1-2s this season. Could be on course for their 4th, but it's a long way to go, and the Sauber looks determined to break that streak. The Aston Martin Extremes. Oh, the RB makes a mistake out of turn 14. Save Jason, goes deep in the corner, allows Extremes to go through, and now Postov is going through too. But back on board with 2nd and 3rd there, because as you can see, Sweet is putting the Alpine under so much pressure there, and more pressure that Ashes has on. The more time we'll lose towards Black Box as Swan Shanks has overtaken Jason again. Here we are, into turn 1 we go. As we go side by side there, the Alpine, has he got enough space around the outside? He has. Going down into turn 3 we go. Let's see who gets a better launch on the exit. It is Swedes, but the Alpine will get DRS. The Williams now has been brought back into play. These two squabbling into the first 3 corners has allowed the pack to bunch up again, and therefore the Williams and the Mercedes has a chance to overtake these two. Here we are. Ash Tube side by side with the Sauber as he gets demoted down into P3 with the Williams. Have a look, but the RP goes deep, and here comes Speed back again as we make our way down into 7 we go. But the RP covers the inside line. Will Speed get a better exit on the outside? He does not, and the more these guys fight, the better for Black Box. So look at that, 6 seconds in 3 laps. It's incredible. This is all thanks to battling and his great pace as well. But look, despite him being out in front, I still love to see battles on the circuit. These two keeping it nice and respectful, and giving each other space as well. Ash Tube puts Sweet into a cute angle going down to turn 1. Then he opened up the door on the outside to swing through into turn 2 and turn 3. And he still remains in P2. So despite the threats that Ash Tube has had so far in this race, he's responding really well, coping well with the pressure too, attacking and defending the right time in the right place. He got a bunch of cars right behind him too, ready to take up P2. The podium's under threat by multiple cars. Jason's having a torrid time out there, unfortunately for him, in P12. Drops outside the top 10, and both RBs, unfortunately, just suffering in this Grand Prix. We're on to lap 4 now. The gap is 7 seconds then. That's a dream start for Black Box, pulled away over a second in the first lap alone. It demonstrates and displays how good his pace around here in Singapore. But even though he's dominating this race so far, anything could happen still. Look at that. I think that Howski's trying to go for a move on the outside there at turn 5. And here comes Sweet now with the DRS, surely able to overtake the Alpine driver. I think that the Alpine has no response. Yes, he does. Around the outside again into turn 7. A bit of a squeeze there from the Sauber, but all nice and fair so far. Dives it down the inside again as the Williams there looks to take advantage, trying to get a better exit, but he can't quite do so, and has to stay behind the Sauber for the time being. These guys on the medium compound tyres are looking to pull away, but they're scrapping too much amongst themselves, and they're keeping the Harvarders in check. And this is good for the Harvarders as well, because they'll convert to the medium compound tyres later. In the background, is that pot stuff making a mistake? Out of the corner there. Here comes the Aston Martin. Oh, that was so close there to contact. I thought that Extremes will wipe out Howski, but luckily he kept the car pointed in the right direction. Now Swan Shanks is looking to take advantage of the Williams driver. So I think it was the Williams that made a mistake out of turn 12 there. And these two have dropped away from the pack, crucially for them. But surely with these guys battling, I think that the two behind the poster for Swan Shanks will get back into DRS range easily. These guys going side by side cost themselves a lot of time, but still it's great entertainment for us. But it must be so frustrating for Sweets, because he was hoping to dispatch the RP quickly to try and catch Black Box, but unlikely now as we head down towards turn 1 side by side again, as we make our way now towards turn 3. Let's see what happens. The RP's got such good grip around the outside. Look at this though, multi-car scrap, 4 abreast almost, there's contact as well, but they still make it unscathed as we go down towards turn 5 now, and Ash Tube's under massive pressure. Who doesn't get the DRS? Is the Sauber? Could he be under massive attack from the guys behind? Could he be vulnerable on the straight? But he still defends despite having no DRS as the Mercedes up the inside into turn 7. And the Alpine gets shown the outside line on the curb there. Now he's under massive pressure from the Williams, who goes around the outside into turn 8. Does he have a better traction around the outside? He does. And he has the inside line there. But Ash Tube has been demoted 2 places there. And now he gets a better exit himself, which allows the Aston Martin maybe to come alongside and try and go for an overtake, but he can't quite do so. So Ash Tube went from P2. Now he's into P5. This is an absolute dream for Black Box. You can afford a few penalties in this Grand Prix. A 3-second penalty if you want to do, of course they're going to do that, but still a great drive. If a safety car comes back into play, will he able to try and pull away again? Oh, Ash Tube, an optimistic move down into the turn 13 there, gets shown the curve on the inside and almost took our game as well, but still This is great entertainment for us, entertainment for me as well. It's only lap 5 in this Grand Prix, and these guys are fighting away like it is the last lap of the Grand Prix. When they went side by side, all 4 of them down to turn 5, I'm sure that one of those guys was going to end up in contact in the wall, but still, they all make it unscathed, and they all kept going away. Again, Knowsley in P5, in P9 in the Haas, trying to catch up to this battle. He's just there. He's 1.4 seconds away from that pack in front of him. So can he catch up? But he'd be hoping that these guys would continue going side by side in corners, slow each other down, and bring himself in DRS play. Here is the Mercedes driver of Hauski go for a move on Sweet as he puts himself into P2 now ahead of the Sauber driver. Great pace from the Mercedes as well as Gamer just taps the back of the Sauber there because the Sauber broke earlier to make sure to make contact with the Mercedes going down into turn 6. Swan Shanks, though, is putting massive pressure on the Williams in front of him. Has the Williams lost his wing? I'm not quite sure if I did see that or not. Has he lost his wing? Yes, he has. He's lost his end plate. So, unfortunately, Potstuff has broke his wing somewhere, and that's why Swan Shanks is desperate to get past him to make sure he doesn't lose the battle in front of him, as Knowsley now gets past him there. So Knowsley has put himself into P8. Ashtube is on the back of Gamer. Will he dare make a move on the inside? He tried it the last time, but got shown the curb. But the Williams doesn't get a good exit, and therefore the Alpine has a better exit. And here we are side by side with the Williams and the Alpine, and 2 blue-coloured cars as we're coming now towards turn 16. And I think, a bit close there between those two, a bit too close for comfort, but they still scrap away. But now the DRS has been broken between P3 and P4, so Kent Sweet and hello there, Hauski, pull away. Potstuff has picked himself a penalty. It could be a 3 abreast moment going down into turn 1 with the Aston Martin on the inside, but the Alpine stays around the outside. But it's an yeah. I knew that was going to happen. It was just, there's no room unfortunately on the inside, so it's cost him big time. He's down as a P9, so I think these guys have been detached from each other. Knowsley now on the back of Potstuff going down into turn 6. And he has the DRS wide open in the Haas. He used a bit of overtake too. The Williams has better straight line speed due to a lack of end plate, but Knowsley now is up into P6 from start in last place. Sometimes you got to know when to back out, and it's one of those moments where you pay the price a bit too late. And Extreme Boys did pay the price. He got the curb on the inside and just wandered into the side of the Alpine there. Yes, the Alpine could have gave him a bit more space, but sometimes you got to know when you're beaten. And Ashtube there still putting pressure on Gamer. These two broke the DRS from 2nd and 3rd place, so now this gap has been separated. Can the two of them now break away and fight amongst themselves for 2nd and 3rd? Can Gamer and Ashtube bring that gap down? It's a shame what happened to Ashtube because it was an Alpine 1-2. And ever since those guys got involved in the battle, he was just able to respond and just dropped away from 2nd and 3rd. Oh, the pool is retired. That could be a safety car, and it is. A safety car has been deployed, and that will definitely play into the hands of the people on the medium compound tyres. They can go towards the hard compound tyres, take them towards the end. So, is the best time to pick now to go on the hard compound tyres. I've had a league race around here myself. I've commentated around a league where the safety cars came out early, and the people on the hard compound tyres, or on the medium, benefited from that, and they went on the hards and took them towards the end. The people on the hard compound tyres, it's a very unfortunate situation, I must say. Obviously, you can't predict when a safety car comes out, but their strategy has been completely thrown out of proportion and out the window there, so I'm not quite sure how those guys on the hards are going to play it out. Will they stay out there? Will they pit on the medium compound tyres? I'm not quite sure. But like I said, when a safety car comes out, I'll just have a bit of a takeaway because it is getting cold. So I'll be right back, guys. Don't be surprised to see the people in the medium's pits, but they should go on the hard compound tyres and take them towards the end. And we'll see what happens from there. I was muted because I was eating my chips, but I gotta say I laughed. I'm sorry, Gabe, but I had to laugh because he's going into the pit box to serve his 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane, but he overtook the safety car a bit too early, or people a bit too early, so he picked himself up another 10-second penalty. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but at the same time, it is funny. Not for him. He'll be very frustrated in that Williams. He knows he was in a good result to score a podium, or potentially a podium, and good points as well, but yeah, it's just one of them silly things. Like Esteban Ocon, I think, last year, and he picked up multiple penalties. Tried to serve a penalty, then picked himself a penalty again. Oh, I feel sorry for the gamer there. And I think the safety car will come in towards the end of this lap too, so he won't be able to get rid of that 10-second penalty. In fact, he will, because he's on the medium compound tyres. I think the mediums can... It's a massive stretch on the medium compound tyres. If he's willing to take them towards the end, then he's got to pay the price towards the end of the race too, because it might be a punch territory. Those medium compound tyres will drop off dramatically. They'll start standing around. So yeah, it's going to be a pain towards the end there for Gamer. Oh, it's a massive shame. We've been there, done that before. We've all made silly mistakes. Do you know what? I'll tell you my mistake. On Sunday, Nosey knows about this because, yeah, I was racing with him. We was on the safety car around this time as well. The safety car came out early. I was in P4 or P5 at the time, and I crashed on the safety car in the wall, lost my end plate. And I was very annoyed with myself as well. So we've all made silly mistakes, but yeah, we'll learn from them and move on. I know how frustrated it could be to just do something so small and so stupid. I don't want to say stupid, but yeah, so small and so silly. And you kick yourself a bit because you're thinking to yourself, why am I making these mistakes for? They shouldn't be happening. But at the same time, it does happen, even to the best of us. So yeah, you just got to keep going forward and see what happens. But the safety car is not going in, so I think that Gamer can pit again to get rid of his 10-second penalty pit up. Hopefully he learns his lesson this time and not overtake those guys, which he doesn't do. That's what cost him, because obviously he stood on the racing track when he overtook those guys, and he ignored the other flags. He made the overtake on the track. This time he gets away scot-free. As here we are then in the pit lane to get rid of his 10-second penalty, so he's penalty free after this pit stop, and he should be on a level playing field with all the rest of the guys. None of these guys yet have picked themselves up a penalty for... Oh yes they have, sorry, that's Podstuff. So yeah, Podstuff is the only one now that's got a penalty to his name. Very crucial towards the end because we know Podstuff had great pace to be up there. 20 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, so only one driver has only one driver has stayed out there, which is Hello There Howski. He's on the hard compound tyres though, so he's not going to go in the mediums. He probably hopes for a second safety car, which is likely around here because there's a 100% chance of a safety car. But saying that though, Singapore has lost its streak from 2008 to 2023 of having a 100% safety car record. I actually can't believe we lost that, But the reliability these days of these drivers and the consistency they have and the grip on the cars, don't really see many safety cars these days. But obviously we exclude Brazil because it was a wet race with multiple crashes. But yeah, before Singapore, in fact, before Brazil, sorry, the safety car did we have a safety car in Mexico? No, we didn't. So before Mexico, we had a streak of like eight or nine races since the last time the safety car came out, which was at the Canadian Grand Prix where, was it Logan Sargent or Franco Colapinto crashed? No, it was Sargent because obviously Franco Colapinto joined at the Monza Grand Prix, didn't he? But the Singapore, the safety car is coming in towards the end of this lap then, can get racing once again. Black Box has got a bit of work to do, but it should be easy because he's on the medium compound tyres. So that's interesting now, saying that, because Black Box, who was leading and controlling this race, has pitted on the medium compound tyres. Will he suffer towards the end of the Grand Prix? We're about to find out then. Could Ash YouTube, his teammate, be the one to take away the glory from his teammate? but you've got to be very careful because you're not allowed to break and accelerate at the same time. So here we are then, immediately Black Box side by side. He's got to wait for the green light, and here we are as we head down towards turn 1. Black Box immediately disposing the Mercedes driver. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix away again, as the Mercedes will be under massive pressure. But what's going on in the background there? Jaden Slayer's gone for a spin. There's a bit of contact too with Postov, and his day goes from bad to worse there, fortunately, for the RP driver, as he was out of that DRS train in the first stint, picked himself up a penalty, and now he's down into 11th place there, so he's going bad to worse for the RP, for the Williams drivers. Make our way down towards turn 7 we go. Here goes Ash. Oh, contact with the RP spun. Ash Tube has spun the car. Oh, it's a massive shame there. He could be on for a podium at least, or potentially the race win, depending how Black Box could survive on those mini compound tyres towards the end. You don't want to do a two-stop around here, unless you've got the outright pace to do so. I think Black Box could afford to do a two-stop if he wants to, but don't want to risk it, just in case. But once again, Extremes makes contact there with another Alpine, I think it was. No, I think it was Williams last time, wasn't it? Or the Aston Martin, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it's contact down at turn 7. I'm not quite sure who's to blame. We'll leave that to the stewards. But it's completely wretched Ash Tube's chance for a podium. But anything could happen. Can he stay in this battle? Save Jason, by the way, is on the soft compound tyres, so expect him to be quick until 3-4 laps go by and those soft compound tyres completely degrade. Jason's right behind Knowsley, he's on the hard compound tyres, but the McLaren driver cuts the corner completely, so that might be a track limit 1 in there as the DRS immediately disenabled. Look at the gap in 1 lap. Black Box has pulled 3 seconds in 1 lap. That's incredible indeed, but as we can see, the battle for P2 then, Howski is an obstacle in the way. He's on older tyres, of course, so he'll be holding up these two. These two would dearly love to dispatch the Mercedes driver. Those two know they can go towards the end on those hard compound tyres, so could the pendulum swing their way later on? Because we know Black Box tyres, they can go towards the end, but it'll be horrible towards in the Grand Prix. He'll be overheating. He'll be sliding around in the high-speed corners. Howski defends there. Marshall has got past Knowsley, or stays in front of him, putting pressure on the McLaren of Swan Shanks in front of us. Here comes the RB on the inside. That's Jason on Gamer. But ideally, Jason needs to go forwards rather than backwards on the set of soft compound tyres. Goes a bit wide, and Gamer's through. Open to P8 there. But yeah, all these drivers have at least 2 sets of soft compound tyres because it was a wet qualifying session. Extremes has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty there, and that's a blatant corner cut. No arguing about that one. Extremes looks like he's got some good pace, but in terms of his battling and positioning the car, as the McLaren driver is putting big pressure there, seems like he's got more confidence and speed in the corner. And now, could he be the one to try and get a podium in this Grand Prix as well, Swan Shanks? He's on the medium compound tyres, of course, so he'll be at a disadvantage towards the end of the race. It just all depends when those mediums start to hit the cliff. But Black Box has set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. And Howski, despite being on all the tyres, is doing fairly a good job on those all compound tyres. Keep those guys at bay. Here comes the Williams now. Up the inside. Gamer gives the squeeze. Knowsley has to run off the track. So does the RB as well. But more contact between those two. Did they come out unscathed? Yes, they did. So a bit argy-bargy between those guys. There's the RB. Looks to get back involved in the action too. But more importantly, what's going to happen down at turn 7 between 2nd, 3rd and 4th? We're about to find out now as they're all so close in contention of each other. Here comes the Sauber, but the Mercedes, oh, the Aston Martin now goes around the outside. Bit of contact between those two there, but the Aston Martin later breaks, goes up into P3. So Sweet tried to turn and overtaking into a possibility there, but actually got overtaken himself and drops into P4 then. So he couldn't overtake the Mercedes driver, but Extremes is now all over the back of him. That was a great move, by the way, on the outside. Just a bit of contact indeed, but it was so close between all direction. As Howski's did a great job, by the way, to defend from those guys behind. Do you know what? If Black Box continues with his great pace, builds that gap on those mini compound tyres, could he potentially do a 2-stop? Or is it just about survival towards the end of the Grand Prix? Here comes Extremes around the outside, and he puts himself into 2nd place there. There's a spinner. It's Sweet. Sweet has gone for a spin, and it's a safety car. Another safety car has been deployed. What's going to happen now in this Grand Prix? We're about to find out then, and it looks like Black Box has stayed out there. That's not great news for Black Box because he's looking to extend on, well, he's looking to try and extend that gap to make sure when those medium compound tyres drop off, those guys don't catch up. But alternatively, I think it could be good for him because the tyre life will be extended on those hard compound tyres, medium compound tyres, and Knowles is now up to P3, so watch out for him, as there's people pitting now onto a brand new set of tyres. How's he going to go on the medium compound tyres? As the softs, again, for Gamer, 16 laps on softs is optimistic. He's changed his wing, of course, but those softs, if he does go towards the end, will be crying and screaming. Who is in the best place so far? I say Nosey and P3s. On the hard compound tyres, of course, they can go towards the end without any doubt. And Black Box, I'm a bit concerned for him on those mini compound tyres, because once they go, they go. They just start sliding around everywhere. Depends if he has the control of the car, the setup of the car as well, where he's able to keep it balanced and check, not sliding around too much, therefore generating unnecessary, excessive tyre temperature. Because once you hit that phase where you start sliding around, it's horrible. You start to lose grip in the corners, especially on the exits too, with less traction. But now the second safety cars came out, I'm going to eat all my takeaway, so be right back. Right, I'm back. Managed to eat a bit of my takeaway. But obviously, I don't want to keep it on mute for too long because it is unprofessional, so I'm going to keep it talking for you guys. We're just past halfway point in this Grand Prix. For me, personally, I think Knowles is the best place here, the P3 on the hard compound tyres, because he can take them towards the end. Could he be challenging Black Box, or does Black Box have the outright pace to just keep him there in P3? Now, I do forget this is realistic as well, so all the cars are realistic performance. So, obviously, Alpine is a better car than Haas, but well, maybe not actually. The Haas could be a better car than Alpine, but this could be judging from last season's performance, because obviously in this game the Alpine is one of the worst cars. Although we went from P9 to P6 for the constructors, thanks to Gasly and Ocon picking up P2 and P3 Brazil. But the safety car is coming in towards the end of this lap, so about to go racing once again and find out what happens now in this another twist in this story as we come towards the final two corners. Then Black Box will lead them away, followed by Extremes in P2. Extremes has some mega pace, but he's just made a few bad decisions in terms of the overtakes and penalties as well. He's picked up as well, so we'll see what happens to him in the last stage of the Grand Prix. Save Jason on the soft compound tyres. I dread for him towards in the Grand Prix, because you don't want to do ideally you want to do a one-stop. Obviously, the safety car changes all that, but at the same time, save Jason if he does go towards the end, or if he decides to pit, he'll be dropping all the way back at the end of the field there, and he's got a lot of work to do from there. So as we make our way now towards turn 6, I'm a bit concerned about his tyre wear as well, because in a few laps' time, those soft compound tyres will be gone, and therefore Hauski, Marshall and Ashtube will be able to be all at the back of again. What will happen between those guys on a brand new set of compound tyres? Because now Marshall, Ashtube and Gamer, Sweet, Jake the Slayer, all them people under the safety car pitted again. So let's see then. Will Black Box be challenged towards in the Grand Prix? That's the main question you want to know. Knowsley is in DRS range at Lou Boy Extremes, so let's keep an eye on that battle of P2 and P3. Ashtube's ahead of Marshall, not yet because they're side by side, fights at the corner. We'll see who gets a better launch. No, DRS isn't able to call, so it's a drag race all the way down to turn 14. Both deep on the brakes. Oh, it's so close to the wall there with the RB. But look at that, the Williams goes through. And that's Gamer taking them both on. And he's up into P6. Great move indeed. Watch them both outbrake themselves and says, thank you very much. I'll take away 2 of your places there and put myself into P6. Now they're still side by side, these two. But there's a bit of contact made between those guys there. And Ashtube just stays in front for the time being. Sweet is there on the back of him too. Remember, he spun early on this race. Could he make a redemption drive? And Hauski has taken Jason on for P4. That's before turn 1. I presume better grip and better tyres there, therefore, and puts himself up into P4. The top, well, second and third place are 2 seconds away. We'll see if he can catch him. He should do on those big compound tyres because they're fresher than the hards. But Jason there is already starting to feel the effects of those wearing soft compound tyres. Game has got past. Here comes Tube now, puts himself up to P6. Here comes his teammate up into P8. And up to P7, sorry, because Jason got demoted down to P8. So that's 3 places lost in one straight there. And now the Sauber's coming through a Sweet of the outside, but the Sauber will be looking to get through immediately because he knows if he stays behind him, that pack in front of him will disappear with the DRS. So we've got to get past him as quickly as he can, probably down to turn 13 at the Addison Bridge there. But obviously the RB will be obstacle in the way and be slowing these corners because he doesn't have the grip on those tyres. But surely now with the DRS enabled, with better tyres, it should get past him. And it should happen down to turn 14 then. So the DRS is enabled, overtake is available too. As we make our way down towards turn 14 we go, trying to go around the outside, hits the wall on the inside there. But can he do a switchback? Can he get a better exit? No, he can't. The RB there just placing his car in the right places. So this is very painful for the Sauber driver. He doesn't go down the inside though, does show his hand, but just wants to put more pressure on the RB to try and force him to outbreak himself. Not happened on that occasion, so this is really costing the guys in P8 and P9. The guys that are fighting early on in this race for a podium and they're struggling to overtake him, but finally gets past him, puts himself now up into P8, but the gap is 2.5 seconds there. Can he close in? The Williams there, Apostoff is looking to go through as well. Oh, gets on the curve there, lost it back in the car, and now Jay the Slayer is up into P10. Further the field though, we can see Knowsley puts in pressure on extremes as we make our way. Is that rain? Oh my goodness me, another twist in this Grand Prix as Hauski and Gamer go side by side. That explains why people have got on soft compound tyres. It is raining in this race, so another twist has been thrown into this race. And I wonder what will happen now towards in the Grand Prix. We've had so many twisted turns, and yeah, we've got another one, which is rain impacts the circuit. So I think that's let's see how hard it will rain, how long will it last for, and when will these guys go on the intermediate tyres. So this could be very interesting now in this another part of this Grand Prix. And the DRS enabled again for the Haasman. The Williams hit the wall on the exit. That's Ashtube who's lost the car, fighting with traction, and now he's under pressure. As we head down towards 13, we go, Gamer! Oh, a squeeze around the outside there. Contact was made as they both tried to outbreak each other, but outbreak themselves. And cost them big time there. Jake the Slayer is now ahead of Chase. Jake the Slayer is ahead of Jason. There we go. Finally got my words out there. Postuff is now ahead of Jason. No soft compound tyres surely must be hanging off the cliff. What's happened to Gamer? Gamer is in the pit lane to go on the inters. Maybe a little bit too early. 1 or 2 laps early. We know it takes a bit of time for the rain to impact the circuit. So we'll see. Is that a big brave move or is that the wrong move of the day for Gamer in P12? About to find out. As he puts on a set of intermediate tyres then. Knowles needs to dispatch extremes quickly as he can. Probably the crossover point between the mediums and hards will start to happen in there. Here we are side by side with the Aston Martin, and he puts himself in second place. Great drive from Knowsley. Has got on the radar in this Grand Prix as Extremes is fighting with the rear end of the car. Marshall is ahead of Astrid, but these two are still scrapping away. They've been scrapping away for a long time now as they go side by side out of turn 7 we go, and they're both just tentative on the throttle. They're both just sliding around to see when they can get the throttle without losing traction, and Astrid is back ahead and he puts himself up into P5 ahead of the RB. So, there's a yellow flag down there. Potstuff has lost the car, I think, but kept his front wing intact, which is very important for him. Gamer is losing time towards Potstuff. That's 20 seconds now, so I think it's 1 or 2 laps earlier. But the gap's gone down, but we know that just Potstuff just made a mistake there. So keep an eye on the gap from P12 to P11. That's 2 seconds, but should we go on leader? There we go. Should be. I think Potstuff is struggling there after his spin. 32.1 seconds, not really much time gained there between Gamer and Black Box. So I think it's still dry compound tyres used at this stage. No, maybe not actually. Knowsley is in the pit lane with Extreme, so they've got on the intermediate tyres. Black Box is in the pit lane too, our race leader, so this could be the time now to pit on the intermediates, and we'll see them go towards the end. DRS will be disabled shortly, so it'll be harder to overtake now in these wet weather conditions. Who has the wet weather conditions? We're about to find out now, as the rest of them will go on the intermediates. Every single driver has pitted. Remember, Gamer pitted 1 lap earlier in comparison to the rest. So where will he rejoin in comparison to this field then? How many cars will he jump in the pit lane? Here he is on the straight by himself as he jumps up the order. Where is he going to rejoin in the end? Is it P3? Maybe P3. He's side by side there. Into turn 3 we go. I remember Nico Hulkenberg and Felipe Massa crashed in the pit lane there. At the exit of the pit lane, Hulkenberg got sent into the wall. But Gamer now is ahead, and he puts himself on the podium. Great drive from Gamer considering what happened in the last stint. Remember, he was the one that pitted himself up a 20-second time penalty, and here he is up as a P3. It's amazing how things could change in this Grand Prix. Despite all the struggles you may have, it could always come back your way if you're in the right place at the right time, of course, and the right strategy. And exactly what's happened to him, Gamer. So from disappointment and miserable that could have been a disappointment there for Gamer, just drifting through turn 9. But yeah, all the misery he had in the opening stage of this Grand Prix probably turned into happiness now, but it's not over yet. He's still got 10 laps left to go to survive in these conditions. Has Knowsley got the pace to catch Black Box in P1 there? The gap's about 1.7, 1.8. It's stabilising between those guys, but Knowsley, we know he's got some good pace from time to time. Can he catch the Alpine driver? The Alpine of Black Box has been dominant so far in this Grand Prix, but could find himself under trouble from Knowsley behind. You know what I was looking forward to? I was looking forward to Black Box towards the end of the Grand Prix because I wanted to know if he could survive on those old medium compound tyres. Maybe that's the reason why I chose the mediums in the first place. But yeah, that rule, by the way, of going for another tyre is gone now because the wet weather hits the circuit. I want to know what Black Box did. Was it medium, medium, hard? Yeah, it was. It was medium, medium because I knew he started on the medium compound tyres. So I should have thought about that one. So he's gone medium, medium. And yeah, obviously if it didn't rain, he had to pit again, but he knew the rain was coming. So yeah, that's why he did the medium compound tyres in the second stint, predicting the rain and being on the best tyre at the right time as well. So yeah, great strategy for Black Box as well in P1. I thought he started the medium compound tyres. He did. Look at that. Gamer has done 5 stops. But we know he had to go to the pit lane twice to get rid of his 2 10-second time penalties. Yeah, so there are your pit stops then. Black Box doing the least stops. It's amazing how things could just change in this Grand Prix as well. 1 minute could go your way, the next minute could just go absolutely dreadful for you. And swing back the other way around like it has for Gamer in P3. So I think we're going to see some quiet stages in this race now, a bit of a null in this Grand Prix unless something major happens, because as you can see, nobody's really close to each other. The gap's over 1 second between everybody else, so it is quite quiet now in this race. There is about 10 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. And I can't wait for this race to be over because my takeaway is getting cold. So hopefully these guys won't cause another safety car and we can get finished with it very shortly. Not been a bad race so far. I have enjoyed it. We've seen plenty of action. We've seen plenty of side-by-side action as well between all these drivers. Yes, there's been a bit of contact as well, but yeah, it's part of racing really. So Gamer is not able to catch Knowlesy, so Knowlesy might be secured in P2. The gap keeps fluctuating between 1.5 to 1.8, so I think the top two are level pegging in terms of pace. Great pace from both of them. We know it's difficult to overtake in these wet conditions, especially around in Singapore. No DRS to aid you down the straight either, so Knowlesy just best hope for a penalty for black box or a mistake. But yeah, what a great drive from Knowlesy so far. I remember the Chinese Grand Prix early in the season where he started down in 19th and finished. He should have finished in first or second, but I think he got taken out down at turn 13 at the heavy hairpin. It was. I think it was. Who was it at the time? It was trying to re-jog my memory. It was Serious Mushroom who won the race from last, finishing first. That was back in the Aston Martin as well. It was a great drive there from Serious Mushroom. We know he's been going through some problems recently. He's a very nice guy to talk to, and yeah. Oh, who's that? That's the Mercedes. No, it's a Williams, a Gamer. Gamer has hit the wall out of turn 14 and he's just caught a safety car. Oh no, Gamer! I just talked about him, didn't I? Having a good race from things going bad at the start to get good, and now he's lost his wing. Oh, it's a shame from Gamer. The pendulum spun back his way after that great strategy call, and now it's gone completely wrong for him, unfortunately, as he misses the pit lane entry there. Oh yeah, 10 second penalty. That's 3 times he's had a 10-second penalty, and he's retired there for Gamer. It's a shame. He's rage quit. He's very angry, I know it. Very, very hot-headed in the cockpit of the Williams there. I feel sorry for him. He was doing a great job. Great battles in the opening stages of the Grand Prix too. But yeah, I don't know how to feel for him really. I do know how to feel. I feel sorry for him, but I don't know what to say really because it's just unlucky to him. Just about 7 or 8 laps away from home to finish in P3. But yeah, we have 3 safety cars in this Grand Prix as well. Gamer becomes our second retirement in this Grand Prix. Take another break in this race then, as things will settle down. Gamer finished in P5 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He had a podium in Belgium as well. I think his home Grand Prix, he picked himself up a podium. So he's had some decent results this season, and has had some misfortunes in other Grand Prix as well. His last win was at the Spanish Grand Prix for the Belgian driver. Gamer, I know him in different leagues as well, so I know his potential. It's a shame what's happened here today. Could have been on for another great podium considering he picked himself up 2 10-second time penalties for different reasons. One of us were overtaken and the other one was for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, Game, if you're listening right now, mate, just come back stronger in the next race. Keep your head up, mate. Still got races left to go. I know you'll be very annoyed at this moment in time, but you'll get over it in a few hours' time. I know how frustrating it is to be up at a high position and do something very silly. And one slight slip. So there's about 6 laps left to go in this race. Black Box has led the whole of this Grand Prix. Never put a foot wrong as Black Box. Never put a foot wrong. But Ash Tube, considering what he's been through, a few spins, a bit of contact too, he still could be on course for a podium because Extremes in front of him has got a 3-second time penalty. So therefore, Ash Tube, if he does remain in P4 towards the end, could still be in the podium. But we'll see then what happens. Could there be another moment in this Grand Prix where it could decide things? so far, it's been a good race. I've enjoyed it. It's a shame I can't make it every single Friday to commentate, otherwise I would. Waiting for the stage to go in and waiting for the end of the race as well so I can finally eat my takeaway. My takeaway I ordered at 5:30 by the way. It came about 7:33, just after I started streaming. And I was so hungry, it's unbelievable. I had nothing to eat all day. Not even had anything to eat at work either, so yeah, you can imagine how hungry I am. Hence why I want to get this race done and dusted. I think the safety car should come in towards the end of this lap. Yes, it is. So the safety car is in. The conditions look heavier than they were previously. So let's see then. Will the driver struggle in these conditions? After what Ashtube has been through in this Grand Prix, could he be the one to pick up that final spot on the podium? And hello there, Houski, as well. Eleven drivers still remain in this Grand Prix, as we're about to get underway very shortly then for the safety car restart, led by Black Box, who has just led this whole of the Grand Prix just to the fact that so I'm sorry about that. I'm just a lack of hunger. I'm thirsty as well. But yeah, here we go then. The safety car restart is underway, and Black Box will lead them ahead of Knowsley. Knowsley under pressure there for Extremes. So could Extremes go down the inside to turn number one? I don't think he's close enough. Plus, I think Knowsley's using his battery in defence mode as we head down towards the braking zone. As they all remain in formation so far, no moves being made down into turn one. You can see the Haas. It's all over the Alpine's gearbox there. Does Knowsley have the pace to try and beat Black Box in a straight fight? You know, Black Box has led the whole of the Grand Prix, but look at the confidence, the Haas. Haas through the corners. Could Black Box be under massive pressure despite leading the whole Grand Prix? Here comes Knowsley now. This could be a change in the lead as we go side by side into turn 7. He's confident on the brakes. He goes around the outside. Can Black Box hold on? I don't think he can. Knowsley is in the lead of the Grand Prix. What a fantastic move there. Here comes the Alpine on the inside now, Extremes. But can't quite get the most stiff. But this battle's not done yet. Black Box trying to go around the outside. Will he have a better exit there? Can he do the under and over? Get a better exit on the exit of turn 7? No, he can't. And it's Knowsley who leads this Grand Prix. Black Box has been challenged for the first time in this race. And Knowsley now is the leader then. So I didn't expect that to happen actually. But judging by the pace Knowsley had when this rain arrived, he had some decent pace, was able to keep in the lap times of Black Box. But we'll see, can he maintain the Grand Prix, or will he be under massive pressure for Black Box? If it's 5 laps left to go in this race, Knowsley from starting down in P13, we know he likes to start at the back of the field. And here he is making another fantastic drive for the Haas driver. As if he picks up a victory here in Singapore tonight, with one of the best he's had so far in his career. Knowsley won at the Hungarian Grand Prix. That was a few races ago, and ever since then hasn't really picked himself a win or a podium. He's only got one win / podium this season as Knowsley. That's very surprising. This could be his second win and second podium of the season there for the Haas man, but we've got 4 laps left to go, and this track is very difficult. A slight lapse of concentration could find yourself in the wall. A slight mistake could put you under massive pressure on the back foot too. Look at that, the top of the wall at the exit of turn 5. Didn't Kevin Magnussen get a puncher there? I think he did, didn't he? This year, Kevin Magnussen, but look at this, the Alpine is coming alongside, but can't quite get past the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin just stays in front, but can Ashtube get a better exit? Lunging down the inside, he can't. Great defence there from Extremes. We know Ashtube, he knows he's got a 3 second time from here, but he wants to win it on the track. We all, as a driver, we all have prided ourselves to do it on the track instead of relying on penalties to run. And he wants to overtake him to finish in P3 because he knows he deserves it more than finishing in P4 with somebody in front of you has a penalty. I always fight hard but fair when somebody in front of me has a penalty. I don't want to just stay behind them and say, oh, I could just stay behind you and just take P3 because you got a penalty. No. Oh, a bit of contact there too. You don't want to risk contact with somebody that has a penalty in front of you. Here he is, up the inside, and he finally takes away P3. It's a double Alpine podium again, but not in the circumstance they want or hoped for. The prediction was that Black Box was going to win, or my predictions anyway. And Astube, despite his mistakes and his spins in his Grand Prix, wasn't expecting him to be back into P3, but here he is then. Alpine will be loving this. Jason and Marshall side by side there for a brief moment, but I think Marshall just stays in front of his RB teammates. Black Box is still sticking on the back of Knowsley there, but just can't seem to find the cornering speed, the exit he needs to try and draw alongside and use the system to overtake him. But Knowsley just had great confidence in the corners, just get alongside him and overtake him, as the both RBs are swapping places there for 7th and 8th with Jake the Slayer on the back of them. But just talk about Knowsley's move around the outside. He had bravery, he had good speed out of turn 5 to drag him all the way towards turn 7 and overtake him around the outside. Amazing stuff indeed there from the Haasman. He'll be glad I commentated tonight. Jake the Slayer has split both RB drivers as Marshall is pushed backwards into P9. As you can see, that Swan Shanks is under pressure from Potstuff for P11 there too. Despite only having like 13 drivers in this race, I told you, like, even having like small amount of numbers can still put on a good race. It's not about quantity, it's about quality, as it always has been. Yes, quantity does help a bit, but yeah, Black Box now. Is there any way past? Black Box will be devastated if he loses this race because he's had good pace since the get-go here in Singapore. Top pole, as now Extreme Lou Boys is under massive pressure from the Mercedes driver out behind, but not able to make a way past. I think Black Box, if he finishes in second, I think he'll be very disappointed with that one. Should have been a bit more aggressive whilst defending against Knowsley, or did he struggle to fire up the inters? But still putting pressure on the Haas. Is there any way through? There is 3 laps left to go after he crossed the line to end lap 28, goes to 29. And look at Black Box. He's all over the rear wing there. Got a good drive on the final 2 corners, but can't quite go down the inside. Look at the ERS he has. Less than none for the Alpine driver. So not much battery in hand for the Alpine, which will leave him vulnerable. Look at the ERS there from Knowsley, nearly 100% as he used the battery right now, trying to pull away from the Alpine. But Knowsley's ERS management has been sufficient in this Grand Prix, and that will definitely help him towards the end once Black Box goes on the attack. But Black Box, in these slow speed corners, turn his ERS into none or medium to try and save battery, regenerate the battery there, and try and overtake on a straight. That's what he's got to do. I'm not quite sure if Knowsley made a mistake out of that corner or he just rode left for some reason. But Black Box knows now he has to save ERS because otherwise you won't be able to attack Knowsley, because Knowsley has the battery down the straight to just inch ahead and stay ahead. Ashtube is getting himself in this battle. He's broken away from Lupo Extremes, who's under massive pressure from the Mercedes of Howski, Sweet MJP, and saved Jason in P7 there. So, yeah, the Aston Martin not having a good time there with all these guys all at the back of him. He had great pace in the early stint, but looks like he's struggling now on those intermediate tyres. As we can see the top 2 once again are Black Box and Knowsley. Can Knowsley keep his nerves intact? Can he keep it nice and controlled in these conditions? Will he make a mistake? One slight mistake and Black Box is through. Black Box himself as well going to be very careful not to make any sort of mistakes, but I think he won't be very happy because, yeah, if I was Black Box, I'd be so annoyed really, because knowing that I dominated all this race and had good pace, and to be overtaken like that at the end of the safety car, I would be so frustrated. He may be happy for P2, but deep down, he would have wanted that win for sure. Deep down. Oh, the Mercedes has spun, and the Sauber makes contact with him too. He lost his end plate, and here comes the RB safe Jason now going 3 abreast into turn 6 of the kink, and there's more contact. So the Sauber's in the middle of this. As we go down towards 7 we go. The Mercedes backs out of it. The Sauber holds on. The RB's off the track. As we head towards 8 now, the Sauber defends the inside line, making it impossible for the RB to go through. But he is lacking end plate damage. He's lacking an end plate there. He's lacking downforce. Here comes the RB, but he makes contact with him, almost sends him to a spin, and this is getting messy now between all these guys. All these guys scrapping away for P4. Now the Mercedes has lost its end plate, so both Mercedes are wingless, and yeah, well, not a Housegear. I thought Housegear lost his wing there, but it was actually Jake the Slayer who lost his wing. Here comes McLaren of Swan Shanks up the inside. Almost lost control of his car into 13. The RB trying to stick around the outside. That's Marshall. And Marshall gets a good exit, so he's able to take back the McLaren going down into 14 there. Lubo Extremes is still in P4 despite being under massive pressure from 3 drivers behind him, all going at him. But Sweet has been dropped now because he's broken his end plate and he does not have the grip in the corners as well. So Luboy could be the one to finish on the podium in the end, the Grand Prix, as he gets very close between those guys. But the gap is 3/10. It's the last lap of this Grand Prix. 4.3 kilometers left to go in this race. And I wonder, is there any way Black Box can respond? Sorry, 5 kilometers left in this Grand Prix. I wonder, is there any way Black Box can do it? Anywhere. Where can he do it? Or does he just have the edge over the Alpine to keep it at bay in the most important parts of the track and go on to win this race? Black Box, we're hoping a mistake there from Knowsley. Knowsley, all he's going to do now is just bring it home. He's done the hard work, now he's got to bring it home and save Jason. Needs to save his... Look at that, here he is then, side by side with Sweets going down into turn 7, and the Mercedes outbreaks himself and allows the other RB through. That's Marshall who goes up into P8 now. Get a bit hectic in the midfield there between all these guys, but I think the spinner was pot stuff. He's in last place, unfortunately. But I think the opportunities are closed now. The windows has been closed, and Knowsley, all he needs to do is keep it nice and clean on the track. Don't pick himself a penalty, because that'd be a very silly thing to do. Just bring it home, keep it nice and clean, and you're on your way for your second win of the season. Black Box will be so devastated after leading the majority of this Grand Prix, but that second safety car, Knowsley just had a great reaction. Probably got the temperature, got the tyres the right temperature window in the operating window there, and here he is coming out the final 2 corners. Knowsley from starting 13th will come across the line to claim his second win of the season. Oh, do you know what? Imagine if he crashed and lost his wheel and didn't cross the line. But yeah, Knowsley, fantastic drive. It's a double LP podium again. Black Box second ahead of Ashtube. Luboy is the 4th place ahead of the Mercedes as they all spin and cross the line there. Finally, this race is over, and after 3 hours of waiting for my takeaway, I can finally eat it. Yeah, thank you for having me on the comms, boys. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating for you guys. I enjoyed this race, better than expected, because I know sometimes a low outcome could have low expectations. But like I said, quality over quantity is better sometimes. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed that race. I hope you're all doing well as well, and congratulations to our top 3. I'll see you all later. I'll see you whenever. Have goodbye for now. Take care.